Chapter 7, 192, Lightning of Heaven and Earth, Risky Attempt. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. As far as Fang Yuan was concerned, a wisdom path inheritance was indeed precious and rare. But even if he gained a complete inheritance, risking his true identity in the pursuit of Northern Plains Gu Immortals was absolutely not worth it. Old Lord Kanyang had restrained the group of demons with one burst of fire, and even sent Pi Shui-han retreating far away. Fang Yuan had realized the bad situation and also was considering retreating. Thus he naturally stopped his attacks. The rank 7 unfettered scholar also did not risk attacking. He thought higher of Fang Yuan from the way he dealt with the life-chasing fire. He himself had to rely on 1,000 disintegrations to get through that danger, which made him feel Fang Yuan was even more mysterious. And besides Fang Yuan, there was still the two black-robed Gu Immortals. He Lu Lan and Fairy Li Shan, thus unfettered scholar, restrained his desire to make a move and only observed Fang Yuan's side. His thoughts were obvious. He was waiting for Fang Yuan's side to make a move. For a while, the surroundings above the ruined bat's corpse became silent, while inside the ruined hall, curses were still being endlessly hurled out. Dongfang tribe's 8 Gu Immortals could not budge even a bit, but had retained the ability to speak. Since the moment Dongfang Changfan's possession had begun, they had been throwing curses and shouting at Dongfang Changfan. Dongfang Changfan's star will turn a deaf ear to this. He saw the situation outside had quietened down. The group of demons would be restrained for a while. He smiled. Finally, the time is ripe. My possession and rebirth will start at this moment. Old Lord Kenyang, I have explained the previous main steps to you. The crucial time has arrived. I will have to trouble you to guard me. Being indecisive when a decision was needed would instead worsen the situation. The star will made the decision and did not hesitate any longer. A change occurred. A large vortex suddenly formed on the surface of the blood veil. Blood energy started fermenting in the vortex. It condensed into form before suddenly bursting out. It turned into a giant blood pillar that directly shot straight down to the center of the phantom formation, covering Dongfang Yuliang's body. Old Lord Kenyang's eyes opened wide and he shouted, "Damn it!" Old Lord Kenyang understood after seeing this change. This blood veil was not used just to defend, but was also involved in a purification process. The extracted 8 immortal aperture origin cores were like 8 metals melting together. It then used the demonic path Gu Immortals' attacks to temper the melted origin cores, eliminating the wills and auras of the 8 Gu Immortals, before pouring the fused product into the possession target. Dongfang Chang. Fan had arranged the situation exquisitely, calculating the demonic path Gu Immortals within his plan. Even Fang Yuan was in the dark, used by Dongfang Changfan into unknowingly becoming a blacksmith. Now the blood energy flowed backwards, filling Dongfang Yuliang's body. Naturally, the blood veil would weaken. With the weakening of the blood veil, the defense immediately fell. Old Lord Kenyang had a heavy duty from the sect, and with enormous benefits in front of him, how could he stay still and not share the burden? Seeing the blood veil weakening, the demonic path Gu Immortals indeed were moved. It seems the previous attacks were effective. There is hope in breaking the blood veil. Everyone attacked together. The Gu Immortals attacked one after the other. Countless attacks rained down like a violent storm. The blood veil was sending the blood energy inside, while also having to endure the attacks. Immediately, it was strained and started to sway unstably. Old Lord Kenyang had no choice but to take action, using an immortal killer move, Final Afterglow. A light barrier emerged outside of the blood veil. It looked to be condensed from the afterglow of the setting sun, and was so thin and faint that it was almost like there was nothing. Countless attacks passed through this light barrier and landed on the blood veil. However, their power was reduced to less than half the original. This was the use of Final Afterglow. It was not a complete defense. Instead, it weakened the power of most attacks. Even immortal killer moves on the level of Flood Glacier would be weakened by 30%. And what the demonic path Gu Immortals were using right now were mostly all mortal killer moves. After being weakened by final afterglow, they only appeared strong, but had little threat. Dongfang Chang. Fan showed a joyous expression. The situation was extremely beneficial to him in this way. The phantom formation was constantly extracting the 8 immortal aperture origin cores and fusing them to create the blood veil. When the blood veil suffered the attacks, the foreign wills and auras hidden inside the origin cores were gradually being removed. Afterwards, the purified blood energy would then pour into Dongfang Yuliang's body. Dongfang Yuliang was a Gu master with a rank 5 peak stage aperture. Right now, his soul was already eliminated by Dongfang Changfan, leaving him in control of his young body. Dongfang Changfan's attention was fully focused on the aperture. The aperture burst with a loud sound as it was filled with blood energy. Oh, Dongfang Yuliang's aura rose higher instead of shrinking. An astonishing transformation was occurring, surpassing mortal, charging to Gu Immortal. Crack! In the clear sky outside, a lightning bolt flashed. Within several breaths later, dark clouds surged and spread over the entire surroundings in the clear sky. Earth tremored and rumbled, and vast amounts of dust surged, as if countless bulls were running on the ground. Heaven and earth chi were stirred. A heavenly tribulation and earthly calamity were forming. Someone is actually ascending to immortal inside? What is going on? The Gu immortals quickly stopped their attacks, feeling baffled. Crack, crack, crack. Rays of lightning struck down together from above. The power they contained shocked the demonic path Gu immortals into hurriedly retreating. Amazing! This is the heavenly star lightning tribulation. How unlucky is the mortal to not receive the favor of heaven and earth. He is just ascending to immortal and is met with such a powerful heavenly tribulation. What earthly calamity is this? The Gu immortals retreated to the edges and observed. Countless round craters appeared in the surroundings of the ruined bat's corpse. The craters were pitch black and unfathomably deep. Bang, bang, bang! Balls of pitch black lightning shot out from the craters and impacted on the ruined bat's corpse mountain, creating loud explosions. The lightning strikes flashed, and in just a few breaths of time, the iceberg was struck by countless lightning balls. The iceberg was smashed into pieces and spattered everywhere. Even unfettered scholar was moved at this, inwardly exclaiming, "The heavenly tribulation is heavenly star lightning, tyrannical and sharp. The earthly calamity is the earth ghost lightning, underhanded and explosive. These two great lightning tribulations are called the twin lightnings of heaven and earth. Their power is increased further when they combine. Even I have to worry if I face them. The twin lightning of heaven and earth combined. One fell from above while the other exploded from below. The lightning was dazzling, forming a purgatory filled with the sound of thunder. Countless bolts of lightning, densely packed together, combined into a huge lightning forest. The shattered ice pieces were completely destroyed. Even the remaining traces of frost energy were extinguished. The scene, as if part of the world was ending, caused the observing demonic path Gu immortals to hold their breaths in and feel stifled. Inside the ruined bat's corpse mountain, Old Lord Kenyang looked serious as he put all his effort in maintaining the immortal killer move, Final Afterglow. This ingenious defensive killer move was being used to its utmost to weaken the strength of the twin lightnings of heaven and earth. However, all of Old Lord Kenyang's effort only weakened the lightning by 15%. His red data mortal essence was being consumed extremely quickly, and soon his forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat. How could there be such a strong lightning tribulation? Dongfang Changfan's star will muttered with a worried expression. This was almost the worst-case scenario in his plan. He had not thought he would be faced with them at this moment. His luck really was extremely bad. The blood veil was being badly destroyed by the lightning strikes and explosions of thunder. The losses caused Dongfang Changfan to feel extreme heartache. These losses would greatly influence the foundation of Dongfang Yuliang's immortal aperture. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Time continued to pass, but the lightning tribulations from heaven and earth did not show any signs of weakening. Instead, they were constantly increasing in strength. The immemorial ruined bat's corpse was wrecked until it was beyond recognition. There were previously countless numbers of densely packed space path-down marks covering the surroundings of the ruined bat, but now they were almost completely cleared up by the lightning tribulations. Old Lord Kenyang was already unable to support the situation, and the severe loss of immortal essence caused him to feel heavy. Right, the power of the heavenly tribulation and earthly calamity is beyond normal. It is all because of you, Dongfang Changfan. Old Lord Kenyang suddenly spoke. You are already dead, and according to the arrangement of fate, your soul should be returning to the door of life and death. How could you still remain here, alive and kicking? Right now, you are not only trying to revive, you are even thinking of ascending to immortal. This is truly an act in defiance of heaven. No wonder heaven and earth are so enraged. When Dongfang Changfan's star will heard this, his grave expression changed. He raised his eyebrows and laughed. Ever since Red Lotus Demon Venerable broke fate, the destiny of all living beings in this world has been in their own hands. So what if it is in defiance to heaven? My fate is in my own hands. I have planned for so long. I made so many preparations. I will definitely succeed. He had just spoken when they heard a rumbling sound. The lightning strikes were already as dense as rain, and the thunder was already resounding nonstop. The thunder at this moment was beyond that of the previous ones. Its sound resounded through the skies and caused everyone's ears to buzz. Dongfang Chang. Fan's star will shook and dispersed at once. A dazzling white light filled the world. Fang Yuan, unfettered scholar, and the remaining demonic path Gu immortals all retreated in alarm, and even old Lord Kenyang had to tightly close his eyes. From the white light, a ray of divine lightning struck down. This divine lightning was incomparably fierce, sweeping past all obstacles. In an instant, it blew up final afterglow, broke the blood veil, and directly struck at Dongfang Yuliang. The divine lightning was extremely fast, in almost the blink of an eye. It had broken through all the barriers like they were rotten wood and appeared in front of Dongfang Yuliang. Dongfang Yuliang only had a mortal body and would definitely be shattered to pieces if he really was struck by this lightning. Dongfang Changfan's possession plan would come to an end, resulting in complete failure. At the moment between life and death, Dongfang Yuliang, whose eyes were tightly closed the whole time, suddenly opened his eyes. In the dazzling white light, he barely managed to see that ray of thunder and lightning. Intense, startled anger rose up inside him. Fluctuating light, falling star lightning, tribulations hidden inside my original tribulation. Accursed heaven, you want me to die so badly? Then I refuse to die. Dongfang Chang. Fan roared in his mind. The phantom formation started to give off bright radiance. Boom! A piercing explosion resounded. Endless rays of white light shot out from the ruined bat's corpse. The light rays swept through some unlucky demonic path. Gu immortals, immediately, their minds and souls shook, and some even directly crashed down from the sky. The terrifying explosion created a huge shock wave that lifted all the vegetation in the surroundings. The sky seemed to be collapsing while the earth quaked. The demonic path. Gu immortals retreated in panic. They retreated several kilometers before the wild light rays gradually dispersed. Only then did the Gu immortals calm down, returning. There was nothing left of the enormous, lofty ruined bat's corpse mountain. In the air above, a young figure appeared, standing proudly as he looked at Fang Yan and the others. Dongfang Yuliang,